guys, how are y'all doing today? Welcome to my video. So, are y'all ever watching a horror movie and think, psh, I can survive that? Well, yeah, me too. Like every time I watch a horror movie. But what I'm going to be describing in this video is going to have you questioning your survival skills. Today I'm going to be listing 6 horror movie situations that you have almost no chance of survival. Doesn't matter how strong you are, how smart you are, and no matter how prepared you think you might be, it's not enough. The thing is, you don't know what you're dealing with. That is until you're fighting for your life face to face with death. Reaching for your choice of weapon, but now it's too late. Hence we can say I told you so. Either way, you're screwed. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, starting off with the Terrifier. So when I first watched Terrifier from 2016, I thought, yeah, that's just another clown horror movie with some crazy dude in a suit. But when you watch the next 2 sequels, you begin to realize there's something different about Art the Clown. He's not just your typical killer clown, but this guy is supernatural. Yeah, that's right. Dude won't die. We officially learned that Art somehow is demonic in Terrifier 3, and that's why he's immortal, and not to mention his enhanced physicality. We see him get shot and stabbed multiple times and even be in pain, but no matter what you do to him, he still manages to get back up. Yeah, there's no way you're getting out of that. His violence is beyond anything ever seen as he takes gore to the next level. He gains the enjoyment of others' pain and is able to effortlessly take the lives of others. As he is able to regenerate from any of your attacks, your best bet of survival is to hope you have Sienna's mythical sword, as it has been the only thing proven to cause any real damage to Art, hoping it gives you a running chance at least. Up next is Smile. Woo! As for Smile, there's not exactly a physical monster throughout the film unless you count the Smile entity creature. Which, hello? What is that? If you had an ounce of thought that you could defeat Art the Clown, then let me tell you about Smile. Smile is a psychological supernatural horror movie that is centered around innocent victims who become cursed by the evil entity that so far up till now, we have yet to see anyone beat the curse. The only thing we have seen in the film so far is the prisoner named Robert Talley, as he is the only one who has survived this curse. The way we find this out is when Rose and Joel decide to visit him in jail, and he tells Rose that the only way to survive is by murdering a stranger in front of another witness, rather than killing himself. So by traumatizing a witness from a gruesome murder, this allows the curse to be passed on to a key witness, therefore leaving Talley free from the entity. So, even though he survived, now he's stuck in prison for the rest of his life. Rose struggles as she can't bring herself to murder anyone and decides to let it kill her out in the woods, having Joel see this, passing it on to him. We see this in the beginning of Smile too, that Joel fails miserably as he tries to pass it on to someone else but ends up getting killed himself. Your mind is being broken into as you begin to hallucinate your biggest traumatic moments. We see Sky and Smile 2 encounter multiple situations and conversations with people like her ex-best friend. In reality, nothing was ever happening. We even see that she has a conversation with a guy named Morris about putting the curse to rest, but since none of those things really ever happen, it's never revealed if it was an actual way to get rid of it for good instead of just passing it along. Moving on to a classic, Nightmare on Elm Street. Now this one you might have a fighting chance. That is if you don't plan on sleeping. Like ever again. The menace himself, the man who haunts your dreams, no, not your ex, someone a little more menacing, but who takes a person's weakest moment of slumber to hunt for his prey. His name is Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger's story has changed multiple times throughout the years, but in this case, I'm sticking with the classics. Now, if you do end up falling asleep and catch yourself in one of his dreams, then yeah, good luck. Because now you're in his dome, where he has all the power. He has full control of reality and can shapeshift into anything. He will manipulate your fears until it drives you insane, making you weaker. The more fear he senses, the stronger he becomes. And no, you can't act like you're not scared. He's literally in your head. If anyone knows you better than yourself, it's him, as he is in your head. This tactic is to take Freddy out of the dream world, which is not as easy as it may sound. But if you miraculously manage to achieve this, then your chance of surviving already increases. Up next is The Substance, directed by Coraline Farge. The Substance takes place around Demi Moore's character Elizabeth Sparkle that has just turned 50 and is having a hard time dealing with it since she feels out of place for being old. Prior to being into a car accident, she ends up at the hospital and is approached with a black market drug by a young looking nurse called The Substance, which is given to her as an option to make her look younger. As she goes back and forth on whether she should do it or not, you already see weakness in her as she is being indecisive before even taking it. Should have been the first clue, am I right? And if you're thinking, oh, I'm mentally stronger than her, I can handle the switch, then you're wrong. Because when we see the split between Elizabeth and Sue, we gradually are able to see the shift of independence the younger version gains, and that will eventually make you lose control of your younger self. We see the toll it takes on Elizabeth when the mental struggle of being able to switch back from Sue to her older self hits. We see how she can't do it when it gets to the point where she literally is sucking the life out of her own body. Eventually, when she finally switches back after months, we see the monstrosity that she has turned herself into. As you begin to lose your mentality, the amount of times you don't switch will progressively age you. Not to mention, you will begin to blur the lines between yourself and your younger self. You might even end up having to fight the younger version if push comes to shove. Saw. The reason you possibly end up in a saw trap is pretty simple, actually. For example, not appreciating life, committing a crime, exploitation of others, being ungrateful, cowardness, association with bad people, and wrong place, wrong time. Did I say simple? Yeah, no. You could be the best person on earth and have an off day and bam, now you're in a saw trap. There's no way you're getting out of a saw trap unless you are prepared to lose a limb or your life, whichever one goes first. Most of the traps are all unwinnable. We see multiple times throughout the franchise that the traps are rigged, giving no chance of survival. Not only that, but the amount of willpower you will need that most characters aren't mentally prepared for is what causes them to hesitate. In these extreme measures, keep in mind, you are on a timer. There's no time to freeze when your life is on the line. The traps are often based on your worst fears or carrying a meaning that has something to do with the situation of why you got yourself into a trap in the first place. Overall, your chances of surviving a saw trap would range from 25 to 30% according to the number of victims that have survived traps in the Saw franchise. Last but not least, we're going to be talking about Final Destination. Let's go. Well, if you catch yourself in a Final Destination movie, yeah, that might be it for you, because you're going up against death itself. We see the surviving characters throughout the films cheat death, but as they do so, later on it comes back forward to them and they die in the exact way they were supposed to die in the first place. We see in Final Destination 2 a pregnant woman in the accident, and that's when the thought process that if a new life is born, then that would take place of their lives, meaning no one would die anymore and it would reset the whole balance. Unfortunately for them, turns out that the pregnant woman was never supposed to be in an accident and she was meant to survive the whole time. Therefore, we don't really see the theory panned out. In Final Destination 5, we see another idea be brought up that if you take another person's life, then you would get theirs in return. We see the situation play out this time around, but it doesn't really work for everyone in the way they intended for it to. Therefore, basically, we have seen no progress in defeating a situation like this. You could try secluding yourself, but previous attempts have failed as there's no escape. You truly really don't have any other way but to accept your fate. So, yeah, you're not surviving this one. Final Destination Bloodlines comes out May 16th, and I'm excited to see what they have in store for the franchise and being able to see if anyone will be able to survive this time. Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. Those were 6 horror movie villains / situations that I think for the most part are unbeatable. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another video when it comes out. Let me know down in the comments if you can beat any of these horror situations. I would like to see what y'all think. And with that being said, goodbye. And I'll leave y'all with one last message.
Dad doesn't like to be cheated.
Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean?
You all just be careful now.
Okay. Thanks for the advice. Creepy guy.